Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Saturday, May 28, 2022. Happy Memorial Day weekend. I hope everyone survived Fade the Public Friday. Uh, I have talked at length about Fridays, about the madness, about people getting paid, the public, the degens, running to the windows, betting those big favorites, the overs. It's just maddening how it happens. And that's how we coined the phrase 7 years ago, Quicksand Sunday. The same poop happens on Sundays. People are down 4 or 5 units and they wake up and they say, man, I'm going to get that 5 units back. I'm not paying the man. And maddening what happens. So they go from down 5 units to down 10, 12. Or the guy that wakes up Sunday morning up 3 units and says to himself, I got a free swing. Watch me crush this book. I'm putting him out of his misery. 10 hours later, he lost those 3 units and he owes the guy 3 units. So it's all about bankroll management, but it's really about the mindset, the mentality. You have to be in this for the long term. You have to use the approach. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I always say, if you got holes in your sneakers, go to your local sporting goods store. Go online. Go to Finish Line. Get yourself a new pair of sneakers. You're not going to get rich overnight. And if you believe social media and those 25-legged parlays or the 10-legged parlays or the nerfies and the yerfies and all that bullshit, you're going to go broke. We close the show every day and say what we say for a reason. Myself and Scott have been in these lanes socially for 7.5 years. I have personally over 35 years of experience. I have more stories that will make the back of your neck and the hair stand up and salute. There is nothing I personally haven't lived in my younger days where I knew everything. I was the cat's meow. North End on Friday, Federal Hill on Saturday, and if I had to, I'd tiptoe to the city of New York on Sunday just to stay alive, to stay afloat, to bet that next day. You don't have to do that. Myself and Scott are here to educate with a little entertainment. Okay, that's what we're here to do on a daily basis. So if you got caught with your pants down, like the rest of the world with some of those big favorites, I think for the last 3 days, I've been preaching that the NBA would not go dark on a long holiday weekend. And Golden State took care of business, but miraculously, the Celtics -9, 9.5, and some spots closed at 8.5, lose outright. So there is a game 7 on Sunday. Just another day in our lanes. So without further ado, let's bring him in. From the Palm Tree State himself, the one and only Mr. Scott E. Webb. Morning, Scott.
Morning, Jeff. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful.
You want to bet some big favorites today?
It never ends. I was going through it. I'll just preface it. I'm just going to quickly say Cincinnati, Ashcroft, plus 176, 180, beats Rondon. Small dog, St. Louis beats Woodruff. Red Sox up 8-2, get outscored 10-0. Orioles plus 155-ish, winner. Seattle. You knew right away. Not 2, but 4 runs. Verlander hasn't given up 4 runs in a month. 2 homers, you knew right away. Seattle at home, plus 195. I think you could have got the Heat last night, probably. Hold on.
9.5.
Let me see if I can. I don't have it up. You probably got them at least plus 250, if not more, on the money line. So it happens. And you know, the hard part about it is when you look at these lines, you look at the starters and you see these huge edges. Just remember Vegas sees them too. That's all.
Well, there's a lot of things that can be said. I'm looking at that now, and I was looking at so Miami was plus 330 yesterday. Miami Heat.
How about this one, Scott? If you did an Orioles and Heat, Sox and Celtics, a black Friday night in Beantown, as we like to say here, you had a plus 330 and a plus 170 or 160. You woke up this morning whistling Dixie, my brother.
Well, people do that, but here's the thing, right? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to do. We have talked ad nauseum, and if you haven't gone to ECI's website, there's a little gambling book there, and it's free. It downloads right to you, and it talks about bankroll management. It talks about a lot of different things in there, and a little bunch of, I think it's like 20 pages. It's not like a whole big book that is 150 pages long. But when I wrote that book, the idea was just to give you some preface and some ideas and some different things. But what my philosophy on bankroll management has always been, and still remains the same today, it's twofold. One, what's the purpose of why you play? That's the first step. And then two, because we know the purpose of why you play, then you have to try to figure out, how do I make money within that strategy? Because if you're just a guy that can reload your bankroll every weekend, and you don't care, if you go say, I don't know, let's just say you got $1,500 and your bankroll is $1,500 for the week, and you can put $1,500 more in it next week. Okay, then you can be loose, right? Some guys have $1,500 and that's what they're going to play on the whole season. So those guys got to be pretty tight. So there's a lot of different ways to look at how you do different things and how you manage your money. However, all that being said, you don't go play minus 270 favorites. You don't go do things that are just wasting your money. Just give it to us. We'll take care of it. I mean, we'll do something with it that's more reputable than going out and spending $270 on a wager that you're going to think you're going to get $100 on. I'm not talking about MMA, and I'm not talking about boxing. I'm talking about football and baseball and basketball and all that stuff. So don't go out there thinking that that's how you play the game, because as the guys on, I just keep thinking of those guys I was telling Jeff about I don't remember. I don't think I said it on the radio or on the TV. On MLB Network Radio yesterday, the producers of the show said, they started making their picks, and the first pick they said was, we're gonna give you Boston minus 170, and then I don't remember that guy's name, Spilly Burgers or whatever his name is, Spilly Goat, whatever that guy's name is. He's like, I'm taking the Astros minus 250 or whatever it was. And then the only reasonable guy that was on there was CJ Nitkowski, and he goes, well, I like Manoah today, so let's do Manoah. Okay, well, he's the only one that had any common sense, minus 120 or whatever it was, and then the two big favorites lose, and I just sit there and go, Jesus Christ. No wonder that's what it's a joke to listen to what these people do on the radio or what they say in our lanes. And to be honest with you, those guys, because they've played the game, they have some insight. They do know what they're talking about. They don't break down games very well, but they do have insight and they know what they're talking about. when it comes to the other part of it. So I like to think that we're a cross of that, right? We've been talking about that. We're a crossover of what we do and what those shows are, but we bring the gambling side to it, which then means that we have to break it down a little bit so that it makes a little bit more sense to people. Anyway, just my 2 cents.
And I want to say this too. Yesterday for the VIPs, on paper we go 1-2. I said this on my timeline, I said it on the Discord channel. I'm going to say it again, and you should know this. If you told me before the game the Yankees were going to score just 2 runs on 6 hits, and of course their 2 runs were solo homers, I would have lost 5 units on the Rays with Talion. It was Cy Young Talion. I mean, this was rookie year, rookie sensation in Pittsburgh. I mean, you made him look like Garrett Cole in his prime. I mean, and of course, we've been talking about Randy Orozco, whatever his damn last name is, and he has 1 good World Series. He gets paid. He thinks he's the next coming to Willie Mays. Hasn't done anything in years. You finally get a hit. You finally get a guy on, and the you know what decides, well, I'm Ricky Henderson. I'm going to go steal second base. Yeah. Okay. Ruin the inning. Thanks for playing. So we had a half unit on the first 5. We had a full unit on the game. And I just want to tell you, Scotty, it was a 70-30 split overnight and all morning, early afternoon. And the shops were pounding the Rays. I had 70% of the money coming on the Rays. You sat here yesterday scratching your head saying, I don't know what they're seeing. I don't know. Well, I thought I knew what I was seeing. Okay. So that we lose a unit and a half there. And then we had the A's. First 5. Give up 2 in the first inning. Bad news Bears. Error. Second and third base hit. 2-0. And the world's ending. Well, the A's, he settles down. Irvin settles down. We take a 5-2 lead after 5. Thanks for playing. And why do we play first 5s? Because no one has got a damn back end. They can't be trusted. I mean, look at the Red Sox, and then what does the A's do? They puke all over themselves, and the Rangers come flying in for the full game. So that's why we dive into the first 5s. So my point here on this second rant for the day is this. If you woke up this morning, you hung over, you had a rough night, you lost a few units, you're trailing for the week, it's a big slate today. There are landmines and there are gold mines. And Mother Nature is knocking on the door again. It monsooned here last night. Yet it's dry right now. There's a doubleheader at Friendly Fenway right behind where I am. A lot of baseball action. Game 6 in the NHL. The board is yours if you're ready, sir.
I'm ready. I'm just listening to the rain hitting my window right now. Just bang, bang, bang. But down here, it rains for a little while and then it goes away. So there's some interesting stuff today, I thought. And I think you can get yourself into playing, 6 or 7 games a day if you're not careful. This Gomber and Sanchez game is one of those games where you got a much, much better pitcher in Gomber. The value is going to be with Colorado today. There's there's not even a question. Sanchez is a 344 batting average against and a 171 whip. So that means he's putting almost 2 guys on base every inning. So that gives Colorado an opportunity here. The problem is that Colorado is the number 30 offense out of 30 teams in baseball. So I don't think that's very good. So I'm just going to stay away from that game. But it wouldn't surprise me to see people play Gomber, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Colorado at least win the first game. Washington's been pretty good on the offensive side. That Baltimore Boston Evaldi thing, I'm not even going to go there. I think Lyles was now listed as the pitcher. Lyles is a guy you go against almost every time you get in there, and you got to figure out how to play it. And I'm telling you, these run lines, these -1.5s and -1s are starting to get a little high. So you got to be careful there. And we saw what happened yesterday. Baltimore's a scrappy little team. They do play hard, even though they don't have the greatest of talent, but that stuff's coming for that team. The next game on the board was Kansas City and Minnesota. This is another one that can get you in trouble. Singer's really good. Now, he had his bad moments last year, and then when he started this year, he started out of the bullpen, and now they got him going. He's pitched 2 games. I think he's pitched 14 innings, so he's went 7 innings in both of them. That's really good. His xFIP number 2.97, Sierra number's 307, so that's really good. His strikeout rate's not up there quite yet, but he's not a super big strikeout guy. He doesn't walk people. That's what he doesn't do. And he's got a good batting average against, great whip numbers, but he's only started twice. So he hasn't had that setback game. The last start that he made was against Minnesota, and he threw a game score 69. His xWOBA number against Minnesota, 430. And he's not been very good at all against Minnesota. And I've got some other numbers here to tell you about. Because Kansas City plays Minnesota all the time in the same division. In the last 5 times they've played, his team is 1 win out of 4 tries. Or I'm out of 5 tries. So he's 1-4. That's not very good. And this is a day game, and he's pitched twice, 1 day game, 1 night game, and he was worse in the day game. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to maintain that way, just because it's only been one try at it. Archer's not that good either. So I tend to think that if I was going to go away in this game, I would take Minnesota side, even though Archer, I think Singer's a better pitcher. The issue then becomes how do you get into the game? And again, it's a minus 160 or some stupid number. And the value is not there. So that means you skip this game. Milwaukee lost yesterday. Woodruff got me yesterday. He's just metric-wise, it's just really good. Anyway, Hauser is facing Liberatore. Liberatore didn't really do I told you the last time, he's a highly touted guy coming out of St. Louis, but he's not a great pitcher. He's an average pitcher. And he threw a game score 34 in his first time out. Hauser threw a game score 66 the last time out, but he backed that up with a 66 the time before. So he's thrown 2 great starts in a row, and then the time before that was a 25. So I don't like to support Hauser when he's due for a bad start, and Liberatore could throw an average game of a game score of 50, and that means St. Louis wins the game. And it's kind of a pick 'em kind of spot here, so it's a flip of the coin kind of game, and it feels like a flip of the coin kind of game to me, even though Hauser's got better numbers. So I'm staying away from that game. That Texas-Oakland game, both pitchers are bad. Hearn seems to be one of the guys that Texas was banking on, but he just hasn't done it yet. His game score for the season's a 41. That's not very good. And but Logue's game score for the season, he's a 44. So you got 2 below average pitchers. And Hearn's off a game score 34, and Logue's off a game score 13. So both of those guys should pitch better today. But neither one of Texas or Oakland has the greatest of offenses. So I don't know which way this is going to go. And I think, again, you got kind of a coin flip here, and I'm not going to go in on either one of those 2. Bieber and Fado. Bieber just pitched against Detroit. That was the last time he pitched. He threw a game score 65 or something. I think it was 65. That is his best game. That's his best game of the season so far. And, I've been worried about him. His velocity's down. His strikeouts are down. His performance is still pretty decent. He's a better pitcher by far. And they should win today. But, again, you got to pay a big price. I'm going to stay away from him. I'm going to stay off of Wood and Gutierrez game. Gutierrez is just terrible. That guy's just terrible. But he pitched pretty well the last time out. I am going to go here, though. And this is a spot where I think I could be stepping on a landmine here, but the numbers allow me to do that, I think. I'm going to play Alcantara today with Miami against Atlanta. And one of the things that I'm looking at here is Alcantara's last start. He was a game score 75. So there's a likelihood he won't hit that number again. But his game score for the season, Jeff, is a 61. So he's a great pitcher. I mean, he's an ace. That's what he is. And Davidson, he threw a game score 26, but his game score for the season's a 43. He's not very good. And Alcantara has been really good against the Braves. So the issue then becomes okay, you got a much better pitcher for Miami. Can Miami hit this kid? And, I think they can. He's a left-handed pitcher. They're 25th in Major League Baseball right now hitting, Miami is. And that's the problem you always run into with these guys is they can't score. But if he limits Atlanta's offense, I think that gives us a chance. And it looks to me like he can get some strikeouts today because Atlanta's one of the top teams in strikeouts over the last 2 weeks. And Alcantara can be a strikeout pitcher. So I like the idea that he can control the mound today. And I got him at plus 101. I'm giving you bookmaker numbers today just because I use that account again. But anyway, I got him at 101. I think you can get him even a little bit higher at some places. But that was where I got him from. And I like that play a little bit. And I know that Alcantara's last start was against Atlanta. That's the problem, right? Because normally I would just scratch this off the sheet. But the numbers are so bad. Davidson's a 585 xFIP number. Sierra number 644, and his 1.83 whip. It's the highest one on the board. So I think if they're going to hit, they're going to have that out. They're going to be able to hit today, and I think that we see Miami, and I think you're going to see Alcantara back up his good start with a decent start anyway. So I'm going that way. Cole and Kluber, I'm not going to go there. The Yankees are winning with smoke and mirrors right now. Well, I shouldn't even say it that way. They're winning because of their pitchers. And I've been talking about this for the last week. The Yankees aren't what you think they are. I know they got the best record in baseball, but they don't get and manufacture runs really. They get on base and then they hit a home run. They get a walk and then they get a home run. But that's important. That's how baseball is played today. Walks are a big part of Major League Baseball. Kluber's on the mound today. He hasn't been walking anybody. His strikeout rate is over 9. Cole's is over 10. I would think this is an under, but I'm not going to play this game under 6 or whatever that stupid number is, 6.5. Especially with, if Cole's not on, they can score 6 runs against him. And if Kluber's not on, they can score 6 runs against him. So I'm leaving that one alone. Staying away from this Cool and Adon game. Adon's terrible, man. That guy's just not a very good pitcher. Obviously, I'm going to stay off. You know who Winkowski is? Do you got anything on Winkowski for Boston?
I have zero.
Well, here's what Winkowski is for those of you who want to know who he is. He's 23 years old. He's 6'4", he's 202 pounds. Not that really matters. But what I thought was interesting is in 2016, he was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays. He was in the 15th round with the 26th pick. That means he was overall 462nd pick in the draft. Jeff, this is just a fill-in pitcher for Boston. He's due to start today in AAA. They got nobody else to throw, so they brought him up. They want to keep their guys going on the regular rotation tomorrow. So that's why this guy's in there. Right now, he's pitched 7 AAA games, 31.2 innings, and he's got a earned run average of 313. So, I mean, it's pretty decent numbers for him. So anyway, there you go. A little bit about whatever his name is, Winkowski. I am not going to go on Gonsolin today against Kelly. Gonsolin's he's been great this year, and it's kind of like he was 2 years ago. I really liked him 2 years ago. Bet him every time I could because nobody knew who he was. I think people kind of now know who he is a little bit. But Kelly's one of the best pitchers Arizona has. He gets rocked by the Dodgers. I just don't really have ways to get into that game that I'm comfortable with. But I am going to play the next one, Philadelphia and the Mets. And this will be Walker's fourth time this season. He's only made 7 starts. Fourth time this season facing the Philadelphia Phillies. And you got Eflin on the mound, who had a game score 63, which is really good. But Walker had a game score 73 the last time out. He has a game score 50 against Philadelphia in the last 5 times he pitched against them. And his game score against them this season is a 42. What's interesting here is that Eflin's pitching like an ace right now. 2.48 xFIP, 2.72 Sierra, 10.38 strikeout rate, and a 1.56 walk rate. That's really a big number for him. And I like that. And he's shown to be good against the Mets in the past, whereas Walker has not been shown to be good against Philadelphia. And I think I got Eflin at plus 109 was my number there. I'm not going to go with this Thompson and White Sox game, the Cubs and the White Sox. I feel like you have to bet the White Sox, but Cueto's due to get rocked. He has not pitched well against the lineup of the Cubs in the past. And I am going to go the next one, which is Toronto and Los Angeles. This is Kikuchi and Lorenzen. I was very surprised at some of the things I found out about Kikuchi today. He is off of a game score 55. He's got a game score 50 for the season. He's got good numbers, 3.61 xCR, 3.64 FIP. He's got great strikeout numbers, 11.47 in 9 innings. But he's walked a lot of guys. What surprised me and I forgot, and I got to remember, he pitched for Seattle. So the Angels have seen him 8 million times. And not only have they seen him 8 million times, he's never beat him, at least in the last 5 times. He's been crushed. It's not even close. They have lit him up and torched him. And then they get Lorenzen pitching today for the Angels. And I'm going to ride with Lorenzen. I think he's minus 103 was the number that I got. And he's been pitching pretty well. Now, balls in play, he's going to have more balls in play than what Kikuchi will. But Kikuchi has not been good against the Angels. I like the matchup here for the Angels, so I'm going to take the Angels today. Musgrove over Brubaker, no question, but, you got to pay 300, 400, whatever it is. And on the last game of the night's kind of interesting in a sense that I think there's going to be a lot of people like Gilbert today. Your Quiddy, I don't like at all. But Gilbert's not finding the plate for some reason. He's walking a lot of guys. So I stayed off the game because I think Houston's got an opportunity here to have guys on base and have opportunities to score. So I stayed away from that one. So that's how I broke down the board today, Jeff.
It's an intriguing board. There's some double headers. The mindset, I'm going to just say this in the Discord channel. Our good friend TJ asked about the over in the game 1 of the Red Sox. And the thought process is the bullpen got us crushed. We got a double header. We just called up someone from, it used to be Pawtucket, now Worcester, the Woo Sox, to pitch game 2. I don't know if Mr. Cora will be sitting guys in the first game or second game. So TJ, instead of diving into the over, where I'm leaning in this spot is I think you're going to get Evaldi one of those bulldog performances that, hey, we need 6 or 7 at least from you at this point. If you were looking to get a little stake in the game, the way the Sox are raking, I'd be more apt to take the Sox team total over. I talked about that the last few days here. I don't know what it is. I didn't pull it up. My assumption would be 4.5 at least. You're going to need 5 at least there.
You want the Red Sox lineup for game one?
Sure.
You got Enrique Hernandez, leadoff, Devers, Martinez, Bogarts, Verdugo, Christian Arroyo, Frenchie Cordero, Kevin Plawecki, and Bradley. So you got some guys resting in the first game.
So TJ, if you look, they're top heavy, and then probably from Verdugo's actually pretty damn hot right now. After Verdugo, you're going to get a lot of swings and misses, and you're probably not going to get much from 6, 7, 8, 9 there. So just be careful. Again, late to the party. Damn, I should have done it yesterday. There's no one hotter offensively than the Red Sox. But
Nope.
With that said, the Vegas knows this. You got a 9.5. I don't think the ball will be. It's not hot and humid there. So in other words, when you get those July games, it's hot and humid. The ball just flies into the Mass Pike. I don't think you're going to get that, but I'm not saying it's going to be a low-scoring game. Scott used a word, pesky, and I said it yesterday as well. This damn Baltimore team, as much as everyone wants to poop on them, they're just, I think, a pitching staff away from being competitive. They're in a division where, unfortunately, they can't compete right now. They just brought Roshman up. They have Cedric Mullins. They have a few Mancini,
Mountcastle.
But my point is, they're just not there yet. But in a blink of an eye, listen, 8-2. All Red Sox backers were laughing. They're like,
they need 5 Grayson Rodriguez's.
Exactly. And they need to pull him up soon, please. That's for another story. But just keep an eye on that, guys. That's all. And Scotty, I'm going to go through the board now. I have a question I want you to simmer. Okay? The question is this. I know our eyes are flocked on the starting pitching. Okay? But you talk about it weekly, daily, about offenses. Who's the hottest offenses? The game has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the game has changed. The starting pitching has changed. So my question to you is, I know we look at initially at the matchups. Do we need to start weighing the top 5 and 10 offenses versus? Because if you look at some of those metrics and what some of these teams are doing, I think you can start to find some diamonds in the rough as well.
So you got Boston, the Dodgers, and the Mets are double-digit in offensive WAR for the last 7 days. I look at 7 days because it so fluctuates. You can be hot for 3, 4, 5 days, and then all of a sudden you're not hot anymore, and then the numbers go away. So if you do it for 2 weeks, you could be looking at really bad numbers. So when I look at the offenses, and I got it right here in front of me, that's the number one thing I pull up. And then I start trying to match it up to the pitchers. So Boston, the Dodgers, and the Mets. That's kind of who you want to bet on. And here I am betting against the Mets. But that's because of something else. So there's some worrisome factors in there. And then the bottom 3 teams, Jeff, New York Yankees, Cleveland Guardians, Colorado Rockies. Those are the bottom 3. So would you really think that the Yankees are in the bottom? But see, that's what I'm telling everybody. They're not that team everybody thinks they are. Sure, they go crazy every once in a while, but they don't go out and get 15 hits and 10 hits. They get 4, and they score 8 runs on 4 hits. It's because they get a lot of walks. So you almost have to look at these things in a lot of combined ways, right? So one of the things I thought was an advantage today, and reason why I picked Miami, even though Miami is not a big offensive team, they draw a lot of walks. They got a 10% walk rate, and drawing walks, it's as good as a hit. So I always tell people it takes 2 hits to score 1 run. But if you got a walk in there, you might score 3 runs or 2 runs. So that's kind of the importance of these walks. You got to get on base any way you can get on base, and getting on base via a walk is important. So yes, and what's interesting about looking at offenses is that they're going to fluctuate more than that starting pitcher will. So I look at it two ways. I look at it an overall team offense, and then I look at it at how many guys. You've heard me say this before. Look, this team's got 4 guys over 1 WAR in offense for the last 7 days, and they got 5 guys that are minus WAR, right? So I kind of look at it and go, who's actually hitting and who's not, and what does that balance look like? Because a lot of teams will have 2 guys that are real high in WAR numbers that offset a whole bunch of guys that are bringing them down. So if you can get those 2 guys out, you can beat this team. And you've heard me say that before too. All you got to do is get Machado out. Okay, because they can't get Machado out and he hits a home run, we lose the game. Dumbasses. But the point of it is that yes, offenses, you can separate teams way better and way faster than you can separate pitchers.
For the novice, a non-paying site, is there anywhere that you can send some people to take a look at some of that stuff?
Just go to Fangraphs.
Okay.
Go to Fangraphs, and there's 2 links at the top. One says teams, and then when you kind of hover over teams, there'll be a batting site and a pitching site. Just go to the batting site, and then when you pull it up, there's a whole bunch of different little click menus that you can do. But and then the other thing on Fangraphs, like I said, when you're looking at the 1 WAR thing, you go to where it says leaders. And do the same thing, because basically what you're saying is I want to see team totals by looking at teams, and leaders are going to be the players. So they're the leaders and the players and that kind of thing. So, and then you can break it down by team. You can break it down by position. You can look at third baseman if that's what you want to do. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff in Fangraphs.
Miami, Atlanta, you talked about it. I don't like the splits. I like where your eyes are, though. I think what I might lean is Miami first 5. I'll take a shot with Alcantara, have them scratch a few runs, blaze through the first 5, get to Davidson, and I don't have to worry about the back end. The next one you kind of went off, and, I think offensively lately, I can kind of sort of compare what the Reds have done quietly into like a burst or 2 by the pesky Orioles. We know Gutierrez is awful. I mean, he is awful. Kind of surprised you didn't think about a first 5 with San Fran getting in there, maybe scoring some early runs, unless that is more of your discontent with Mr. Wood as well.
Well, Wood's one of those pitchers that is I'm going to pull him up here for a second. He's one of these guys that is he just, I think his results are better than what he actually produces, if that makes any sense. So here you got Wood, right? So he's got good measured, good numbers over his last 30 days. It's 3.17, 3.40. That's his xFIP numbers. Those are good. His strikeouts are good. His walks are a little bit high. His batting average against Jeff, 333. That's not very good at all. And when you consider that's a 30-day stretch, that's still not very good at all. His whip rate, 1.78. His BABIP number, 419. So I don't like this guy. So if I look at his game log, I think there's been some bad starts. His game score for the season's a 47. Last time out, 26. The time before that, it was a 47. His best start was April 17th against Cleveland. After that, it's either been just average or below average. So he's really only had one good start.
Well, again, guys, I am awful at totals. Everyone knows that. I don't have Biff.
The most he's pitched is 5 innings. He pitched 3 innings last time out, 4 innings the time before that.
I don't have Biff's Almanac. I don't have tomorrow's newspaper, but this smells like an over to me. And Vegas is saying it's 10 right now. So I think both teams will put some guys on base. So I'll leave it at that there. The Dodgers, I was just going through the records, and the Yankees 33-13, God bless them. The Dodgers quietly 31-14. There. Godsland has been great. Arizona, Kelly, just too steep. I mean, I haven't been in the first couple games, first fives. I mean, they're just raking. That's all. I'm not going to get in now, but I mean, if you wanted to dodge your first five or a run line, I don't have anything against that. I can't say anything against that. Eflin and Walker, again, I go Phillies here, first five. Alonso 3-run homer, 3-2 after five. I'm just going to stay away. The Phillies got my number. And when I go against the Mets, I had to sweat out San Fran a couple nights ago. I'm still recovering from that night. 13-12 there. Pittsburgh, San Diego, again, strong, lean, Musgrove. I can't get in there. The price is too steep. That's what Vegas does to us. Evaldi, Baltimore, I talked about that a little while ago. Red Sox doubleheader. Listen, they had to eat crow. They came home chests out. Our offenses are crushing it for a month now. Why is Whitlock starting? They need him in the back end. Well, it just proved my right again. 8-2 lead. They lose. They give up 10 straight and lose 12-8. I'm expecting a big day from Evaldi. If you wanted to go Sox first five, I don't have a problem with that. Lyles is not good. Singer and Archer. I'm very familiar with Singer. He is on our roster, on our fantasy team. Great start, his last start. Archer quietly has done the job. I don't know where they're getting these retreads. I think the last time Archer and Cueto both pitched on the same day, I think combined they gave up like one run or something stupid like that. I'm going to stay away. Minnesota very quietly, 28-18, 10 games over 500. Hats off to them. The White Sox were going to away with that division, and they're laughing right now. Texas, Oakland. I want to personally thank Oakland for the first five last night. You had me nervous after one. Hearn versus Logue. Kind of, look at the numbers there. They're trying to give you a little lean where they're leaning. I mean, Oakland, when they score 5 runs, that's probably a week for them. Small favorite. I'm just going to stay away. This Bieber Fado all day yesterday was playing mind tricks with me. All the sharp money, Scott, was on Fado. All the sharp money was on him. Yet they come back after an extra day's rest at -150. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to tell everyone here the sharps were pounding Fado in Detroit all day yesterday. I'm staying away there. Cole Kluber, excuse my French, they can kiss my ass. Both of those teams. You watch Tampa will put up a crooked number in the first inning just to spite me after last night. I'm still salty. I will carry that for a week at least. Reyes versus Winkowski. No thanks. Good call on Kukuch. Kukuch has been, by the way, pitching a lot better of late. And Toronto quietly waking up. Nice hit on Manoah. Unfortunately for my future, I needed the win from Manoah, not the Jays win. Thank you. I do like your lane with Lorenz in there. I think I will be dabbling my toes in the first 5 there for sure. Urquidy and Gilbert wake up this morning and to see Houston -118. Then when you start really doing some diving, like you said, it is the right side today. They got lambasted yesterday. I expect a wake-up call from Houston. I like them early and often. I like them in the first 5. I like them in a full game today. Thompson versus Cueto, there he is. The White Sox, a very small 136. It's a rivalry game. Here's what I'll tell you guys this. Whoever wins today's game, bet the other team in the next game. On these 2 games, inner city rivals, it's always a split. So just whoever wins, don't play today's game. Whoever wins today, go take the other side there. Last game, Colorado, Washington, Gomber versus Sanchez. Again, I suck at totals. God, that looks like an over to me. Holy cow. But what do I know? Scotty, closing thoughts.
I think that if we can teach anybody anything, pay attention, ask good questions, be a participant. We talked about it last night on the closing show. I'm going to talk about it again. I keep getting these videos sent to me from places that I subscribe to, and all they talk about and all that's being said is, everybody complains and they whine and they bitch and they moan, but nobody takes action. Nobody does anything. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you. Are we going to be right every day? No, but we're going to give you as much information as we possibly can. And all I can keep suggesting to you is change your life by getting actively involved in everything that you do. Don't be a victim of circumstances. Get involved. Because if you're involved, you're going to ask the right questions. And there's no dumb questions. There's just whatever we see, we're going to spit it out. One of these days, Jeff, I'm just going to put the numbers up and have them here and handicap the board live. So people can see what I do or hear what I say or how I think things through or whatever, so that maybe we do that on an exercise one of these days. But the point being is that it's not, it's I'm gray, I'm old, I've done this, I've played the game. I can't show you, probably can't see. I got a big scar on my shoulder from where I had surgery. You see these guys that say impingement syndrome? That's what they call it now. They didn't call that back then when I had it. They just go in and shave my bone off on my shoulder. So I can't throw anymore. But the point being is that I've been there in lots of different ways, seen lots of different things, been on the field, been in the dugouts, been in the locker rooms, the clubhouses. I've done all that. And I know what the numbers look like. I know what the numbers mean, and I know how they relate. But having said that, most people can't relate that information into gambling. So I feel like I can do a lot of those things. And I love what Jeff does, because I don't do the line reading nearly as much as he do. Now I do it in football, but I don't do it nearly in baseball like he does. So when we cover baseball, guys, just ask questions, because we can cover anything. We can talk about anything. So there's a lot of different things that we can go on. And I think as we keep going here, I'm hoping that that's what will happen. This show needs to be interactive. We need to have a lot of people on here with comments and going, hey, I got a question about this game. I got a question about that pitcher. You and I talked about doing live shows. And one of the things that I brought up was, when we're watching a game, what do you watch? Well, do you know what you're looking for? As you go through, the lines change, right? Do you know why? And why they've changed? And so one inning's over and it's 0-0, but yet the line changed. So what does that mean? Well, it means the probability of the win went up for whoever was the line went to. Well, why did it do that? Well, there's an algorithm that puts all that together. But you can beat the algorithm. The algorithm doesn't count pitches. The algorithm doesn't know who pitched the last game in the bullpen for the other team and what the back end looks like. If you plan out the game, we can walk you through lots of different things, guys. So just participate, be a participant, get involved. And then once you learn, take actions and make things better for yourself.
I didn't touch on it. I quickly, 8:00 tonight, rotation number 13 and 14, Carolina at the Rangers. Carolina up 3-2.
We're still waiting on them, Jeff. Somebody's got to win that damn series.
Carolina is 6-0 at home, and if my math's correct, they are 2, 3, 4, 5, 0-5 on the road. They haven't beat Boston on the road, and they haven't yet beat the Rangers. 105 start. A tad move on at Circa right now. Good morning, gentlemen. Minus 103 for Carolina, minus 107 for the Rangers. That place has been rocking, and it's a different Carolina team versus the Rangers. Home and away. Sheturkin, I think, will be standing on his head. Yeah, I could see the reason why you think Carolina finally breaks serve. You want the sizzle or the steak? The sizzle is the Carolina team. I'm sorry, the steak is the Carolina team. They're the better team. But do you want to root for the home team, the waving of the white towels, the crowd and all that, with the best goalie? supposedly in the regular season. We know Vasilevsky right now is the best left in the playoffs. But anyways, slight lean Rangers. If you want some pizza and beer money, late at 8 o'clock, in between some late night baseball. But again, it's been a great start to the week. Or as we're wrapping up this week, myself and Riley will come on tomorrow morning and get you guys set up for Sunday. Potentially Monday morning, we will be dark. It is the official holiday. A lot of people have parades. They have other rituals that they do in Memorial Day. Myself, I have an event that I've been asked to attend early in the morning. I think myself and Scott will try to tiptoe back and try to get some kind of a closing bell, a potential game 7 here in the Pucks. And no bases, though. I mean, no bases, no basketball. Game 7 tomorrow, and then the first game, Golden State versus whoever. Celtics opened up 2.5 with about a 200, right around there, under over there. So that's it for now. Any comments, questions, concerns, you can find me at EC Sports Invest. You can find Scotty at Webby20MLB. If you want to send us an email, you can send it to eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. With that, if you are wagering, investing of any sort today, tomorrow, next week, please do it responsibly. If you do have a problem, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why myself and Scotty care? We want to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Scotty Webb at Webby20MLB. We wish everyone a blessed day, a memorable Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.